All right, let's go ahead and call the Senate to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeant Arms, please secure the doors. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President,
All right, Senators, today we have the Reverend Matthew Hannesian from St. Martin in the Field Episcopal Church in Severna Park, Maryland, guest of the distinguished senator from District 33. Members, please rise for the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, as we gather today, we give you thanks for bringing each of us to see this day that you have made. We also give you thanks for the work this body will undertake. We ask you to send down your spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice upon all who serve in this Senate, that with steadfastness of purpose they may faithfully serve the great state of Maryland. May courage, honesty, respect, and foresight prevail in our hearts and minds, and may they so mold and shape our discourse that the work undertaken today may best provide for the needs of all. We lift up to you and ask your blessing upon all those who are battling the COVID-19 pandemic, and especially for the healing of those who are infected. Let your arms of grace and loving kindness surround them and those they love. Guide us to choose right actions that help ensure not solely our own well-being, but that of our fellow citizens, especially in this time of pandemic. Finally, we ask your blessing on the procedures this day, that wise counsel may be had, truth spoken and heard, and that your will be done for the betterment of all. With thankful and full hearts, in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now, before I journalize the prayer, we have a very special guest on the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind lady, her husband sat in this chair for many, many years, former Senator John Cade. Please give a warm Senate welcome to Ardith Cade.
Ardith, welcome so much, Ms. Cade.
So Ardith and one of my staff members, Cindy Nethus, are here because they're parishioners of Father Matthew. Father Matthew is in his 6th year at the church, a strong anchor in Severna Park. The good news is the church is in my new district. The church across the street is not, but you know, that happens. And he has done a great job during this time of expanding the elementary school that serves the children of our community. Mr. President would ask that his kind prayer be journalized.
Thank you so much, Senator, for that observation, and without objection, we will certainly journalize the Reverend's remarks today. Chair recognizes Senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Doctor of the Day, I have the honor to introduce.
Senator, can we get one quick second? Let's do the roll quickly. Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is now in session. We have an introduction. Chair recognizes Senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, it's my honor to introduce the Doctor of the Day, Dr. Frank Sparandero from my district, District 7. Doc, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Doctor. Pleasure to have you here. Chair recognizes Senator from Prince George's.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I also just wanted to recognize Ardith Cade, who is with us today. She has many accomplishments, but the current project she's worked on, which is like, she takes on the hard ones. She is the chair of the Maryland Leningrad Sister State Committee. Taking on U.S.-Russian relations today is someone taking on the hard problems, and she's doing a great job, and I just want to recognize her for it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. The intractable ones, huh? Yes, Chair recognizes Senator from District 17.
good morning, Mr. President and colleagues. I also
Senator,
wanted...
Senator.
I
Go
rise
ahead.
for...
We'll do a Senator from the Lower Eastern Shore, followed by the Senator from District 17.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for introductions, but I also wanted to comment on Ardith Cade as well, who is a dear friend of my former boss, Congressman Dave Hobson, the Buckeye ties there, and just have great memories of your being in the office and guiding us on many issues. So I wanted to recognize you as well. But I also wanted to recognize two of my team members that are here in the gallery this morning. Diana Grechahina, who is a graduate of Salisbury University and is now in my office supporting me during session. And we have a Salisbury University intern in her senior year, Katie Smith, that is joining us, and they're doing a great job in the office and here to observe our proceedings this morning. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Senator from Gaithersburg and Rockville.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am doing an add-on first on Ardith Cade, who just needs more praises. She and I serve together on the Maryland State Arts Council, and she also advocates for Washington County education and is down here on important things and is a wonderful longtime friend. So she is more than just former Senator Jack Cade's surviving spouse. She is fabulous. But the other reason I rise today is to introduce my shadow for today, the Chief of Police in Rockville. Chief Victor Brito is with me. We have been planning this for probably 2 years. Chief Brito also knows Western Maryland because he was the chief in Hagerstown, and so the senator from District 2 knows him well from when he was on the city council. He worked in the Metropolitan Police Department. He was educated in all prestigious places, including Johns Hopkins, and the Rockville Police Force now has 59 sworn officers and 31 unsworn officers. So this is not a small department. He is community-minded. He's a great partner to me and super responsive when I contact him about anything from police reform to other public safety issues. So I'm thrilled to have him with me today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much. All right, we have some additional guests today. Are we ready? All right, as we pull up a resolution, we'd like to have the senator from District 45. We have some champions here today joining us on the Senate floor. Let's have them come on in, and as they're joining, go ahead, Senator, at your leisure.
Just let me know when you're ready. Yes, sir. Mr. President, at this time, I have the great honor, the distinguished honor of highlighting the accomplishments achieved by Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School's football team. Under the direction of Coach Lawrence, Dunbar football team secured the 11th, colleagues, the 11th 2A1A state championship title with a record of 13-0. The Poets ranked #1 in their division. Let me be clear, colleagues, this feature would not have been possible without the leadership of Coach Lawrence Smith, who has shaped and modeled Dunbar's football team since 2007, holding a record, colleagues, of 155 wins and 24 losses. In his 14 seasons as coach, Coach Smith is a force to be reckoned with. He is the fastest coach to have 50 wins in the state of Maryland's history. And just this year, just last year, Coach Smith was presented with the opportunity to win the 2021 Ravens High School Coach of the Year award, making him the first to win this award 2 times. The tremendous efforts made by the coaches, the passion, the dedication of each and every one of our 55 players. Some are joined here on this floor, but many are also up on the stage. And please, can y'all stand up? Can y'all please stand up?
The championship team here, if you could stand up, excellent.
Yeah, we're going to stand again. Mr. President, the sheer talent of this team has been displayed year over year over year, and it's something that we all in Baltimore are proud of. While the other factors that could cast a slight shadow on Baltimore City, let me be clear that we are extraordinary, and in our striving, we continue to achieve greatness, and this is a clear example of that right now, Coach. Colleagues, to symbolize this moment, to memorialize this moment, Coach, we got a football from all of our Baltimore City Senate delegates, senators Senate President, can I say their names?
Uh,
Permission to say their names?
Senator may proceed.
In numerical order, Senator Antonio Hayes, Senator Joe Carter, Senator Murray Washington, Senator Sid Noor, and we know him as the Senate President, but he likes to go as the senator from the 46th District, Senate President Bill Ferguson. Let us give a round of applause to Coach Lawrence Smith, Assistant Coach William Kress, the players who are with us today, quarterback Devin Roach, Robert Smith, Tyler Hood, Corey Anderson, Jalir Irvin, Tony Hart, Tristan Keenan, and each and every one of their teammates that are in here. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all for the extraordinary work that you all are doing and leading for our great city of Baltimore.
The clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to the Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School football team in recognition of winning your 11th 2A, 1A state championship. We applaud your outstanding season and wish you many more. Congratulations.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. To the champion poets, the Senate of Maryland unanimously celebrates your 11th 2A, 1A state championship. Congratulations on this incredible accomplishment to all who are here. All right, we'll do a quick picture here. Excellent. Thank you all. Take that football field talent too, and I know it's matched in the classroom as well. We're rocking and rolling. Keep up the great work, Coach. Thank you. Great job. Great job, folks. Keep up the good work. All right. Great way to start the day. Chair recognizes the co-chair of the Protocol Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it is Thursday, and it is an opportunity to have our peaches join us in person. So, from Baltimore County District 7, Perry Hall High School, please welcome Tabitha Tamulovich. If you want to wave to everybody, Tammy. Thank you. And from Anne Arundel County District 33, Archbishop Spalding High School, Cameron White. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I hope you all enjoy your day today. Nice and packed, busy day. Floor, committees, all of the work. All right, any other introductions before we jump into things today? If not, so be considered the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We've got some more bills. This is calendar 37. Clerk will read the bills.
Senate Bill 908, Harford County Senators, Harford County Board of Education, appointment of members, alterations, rules.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. They will be referred to the Standing Committee on Rules. We've got some bond initiatives. Calendar 19, clerk will read the bond initiatives.
Senator Stalling, Mount Carmel Air Conditioning. Senator Hester, American Legion Post
Majority Leader
223.
moves so be considered the reading of the bond initiatives. They will be referred to the Subcommittee on Capital. We have a couple of reassignments. Clerk will read the reassignments.
In accordance with Rule 33D, the following legislation has been reassigned. Senate Bill 720, Senator Kelly. State Board of Examiners of Nursing Home Administrators, renaming and licensure of assisted living managers, reassigned to Finance. Senate Bill 855, Senator Eckert. Business regulation, home improvement contracts, deposits by financial institutions, reassigned to Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs.
All right, bills will be reassigned to their appropriate standing committees. We have, let's get this one introduced. This is the Executive Nominations Report number 2. Clerk will read the report.
The Senate Executive Nominations Committee reports favorably on gubernatorial appointments and recommends that the Senate of Maryland advise and consent to these appointments. Report number 2 is on the floor system.
Chair recognizes the chair of the Executive Nominations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Executive Nominations Report, number 2 of the Senate Executive Nominations Committee, be admitted in open session, and that we special order the report until, will that be tomorrow or Monday?
Let's do Tuesday. How's Tuesday?
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
meant Tuesday. Thank you.
Give people plenty of time to look through.
Thank
All
you.
right. The chair has moved to hear the report in open session and special order the report for consideration until Tuesday. Are there any objections? Without objections, so ordered. All right, let's go ahead and do these third readers. If we could take a quorum call before third reading calendar.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. Let's go to calendar number 8. The clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 2, Senator Augustine, Mental Health Law, Petitions for Emergency Evaluation, Electronic Record.
All right, Senate Bill 2 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 2, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 12, Senator Augustine, Behavioral Health Crisis Response Services and Public Safety Answering Points Modifications.
Senate Bill 12 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 12, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 32, Senator Carrozza, Worcester County Public Safety Buildings used for agritourism.
Senate Bill 32 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 32, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 50, Senator Young, Higher Education Return Peace Corps Volunteers in-state tuition.
Senate Bill 50 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 50, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 73, Senator Lamb, General Assembly Special Elections to fill a vacancy in office. This is a constitutional bill.
Senate Bill third reading is on third reader for final passage, a constitutional amendment. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 73, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 86, Senator Hester, Department of Natural Resources, Lease Agreements, Trail Access Provision.
Senate Bill 86 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 86, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 93, Senator Kramer, Tax Credits, Employment of Individuals with Disabilities.
Senate Bill 93 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 93, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Do we have more on this one? Yes, clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 94, Senator Eckert, Public Health, Maryland Suicide Fatality Review Committee.
All right, Senate Bill 94 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 94, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 101, Senator Kagan, Election Law, Contested Elections.
Senate Bill 101 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 42 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 101, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 103, Senator Augustine, State Board of Examiners for Audiologists, Hearing Aid Dispensers, Speech Language Pathologists, and Music Therapists revisions.
Senate Bill 103 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? And wish to change their vote, explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 103, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 114, Senator Wallstreicher, False Claims, Civil Penalties or Damages, Authorization to Recover and Exceptions to General Fund Deposit by Comptroller.
Senate Bill 114 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Wish to change their vote, explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 114, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 127, Senator West, Public Safety, Police Athletic League Programs.
Senate Bill 127 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 127, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 133, Senator Washington, State Board for the Certification of Residential Child Care Program Professionals, Membership, and Official Seal.
Senate Bill 133 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 133, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we've got another third reading calendar. This is number 9. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 164, Senator Feldman, Insurance, Annuities, Non-Forfeiture Interest Rate.
Senate Bill 164 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 164, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 169, Chair Finance Committee, State Autism Strategy Revisions.
Senate Bill 169 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 169, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 173, Senator Feldman, Health Insurance Nonprofit Health Service Plan, Board of Directors.
Senate Bill 173 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 173, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 176, Chair Judicial Proceedings Committee, Vehicle Laws, Rear-Facing Child Safety Seats Requirement.
Senate Bill 176 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 176, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 178, Chair Health, Education, and Environmental Affairs Committee, Program Open Space, Local Projects, Federal Funds.
Senate Bill 178 on third reader, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 178, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 199, Chair Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, State Board of Architects, Sunset Extension.
Senate Bill 199 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 199, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 200, Chair Finance Committee, Public Health Prescription Drug Monitoring Program, naloxone Medication Data.
Senate Bill 200 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded the vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 200, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 206, Chair, Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, Department of Agriculture, Spay Neuter Fund Extension.
Senate Bill 206 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 206, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 210, Chair, Budget and Taxation Committee, Tax Credits, Employer-Provided Commuter Benefits, Expansion and Administration.
Senate Bill 210 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 210, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 213, Chair, Finance Committee, State Commission of Real Estate Appraisals, Appraisal Management Companies, and Home Inspector, Sunset Extension.
Senate Bill 213 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 213, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 239, Senator Simon Eyre, Election Law, Campaign Finance, Protection of Contributor.
Senate Bill 239 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 239, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we have a special order calendar. We do. Clerk will read it.
Senate Bill
Third page. Forgotten it.
245, Senator Kagan, Maryland Nonprofit Development Center Program, Nonprofit Interest-Free Microbridge Loan, Nimble Account Funding.
How could we forget Nimble? 245 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 245, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Now we are on a... Yes, Chair recognizes the senator from Howard and Carroll counties.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to be recorded in the green for Senate Bill 133.
133 in the green. Any objections? Without objections, so ordered. All right, special order calendar number 8. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 29, Senator Elfrith, Family Law, Emancipation of a Minor, and Authorization to Marry. Question is on the adoption of the favorable report as amended.
All right, Senators, question is on the favorable committee report as amended on the report. Any discussion on the report? Chair recognizes Senator from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Mr. President. You heard most of my support for the bill, changing existing law, which currently a person 16 or 17 can marry under a number of exemptions. And actually, in current law, an individual at the age of 15 may marry under certain extensions. So we're trying to, this legislation moves that age up. My amendment puts back into law.
Senator, is this on the amendment?
Oh, sorry.
We have to adopt the report first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before, no worries.
Sorry about that.
On the report, any discussion on the report? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Senator has an amendment to the bill. Chair recognizes the senator for Baltimore City with the purpose of an amendment. Do we have our
Thank you.
pages, actually?
Do we have
the
pages
paper?
today? Great, I do. I actually have the paper. It is amendment, thank you, amendment number 403321.
All right, just give us one moment. Double duty here for our excellent pages. We got to get it into the system as well. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, currently under Maryland law, there is an exemption that allows individuals under the age of 16 to marry. This bill rightly changes it so that 15-year-olds cannot marry. What this amendment does is simply raises the exemption that is currently in Maryland law to the age of 16 and says that if an individual who is 16 and pregnant and it is certified by a number of health professionals can marry. Additionally, the amendment says that only an individual who is essentially a resident of Maryland can apply to this exemption. So I guess I'll start again. Currently, there is the right for an exemption under our minimum age of marriage. Okay, and the bill that we are contemplating says that individuals under the age of 17 may not marry. My amendment reinstates an exemption that is currently in Maryland law, to this hard and fast rule of the age of 16 and as in 17, and says that if you are pregnant and it is certified that you are pregnant, you will provide that to the clerk, and that the clerk would issue a marriage license. It does remain and keep the exemption that it doesn't involve the family, because I know there were concerns about family pressuring. It also adds an additional new piece into the law that says that if you don't live in the state of Maryland, you do not have the right to this exemption. And that's addressing the concerns that Maryland would become a destination state, which frankly I think, as I suggested last year, it is the case that a great number of individuals marrying under our current legal age of marriage are coming from out of state. So I respectfully ask for the adoption of this amendment. I believe that it is, as I said, we should be cautious when we're taking away a right. Currently, 16-year-olds have this exemption, so I would like us to continue to keep that. So thank you.
All right, Senator has moved the amendment. Let's check with the floor leader on the amendment. Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank the sponsor of the amendment for sharing it with me ahead of time, so I appreciate the courtesy there. I would ask the body just to resist the amendment for a couple reasons, and I also appreciate, just before I go into some of the other concerns that I have with the amendment, that you try to make that distinction between in-state, out-of-state, because when you look at some of the more, the wider age gaps, a lot of them are coming from out-of-state. So you're talking about, 24-year age gaps, a 40-year-old marrying a 16-year-old. A lot of that is coming from out-of-state because they know they can avail themselves of that here in Maryland. But I'm just checking with council, the distinction between in-state, out-of-state, intra, I think raises some constitutional issues. We'd have to look into that. So that's one thing I would say. Second is, look, some of the procedures that you put in here, I think also, it's just unnecessarily complicated, and I think that what we've done in the committee is strike that clean balance in policy and in constitutionality that ensures that there's that level of coercion doesn't happen and occur through this process, something that's been, as we've seen here, and I've got the numbers here, a pretty prominent practice in Maryland. And I think that's good policy moving forward, so I'd ask the body to resist the amendment. I appreciate the courtesy.
On the amendment, are there any senators who have not yet spoken who wish to speak? Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in support of the amendment. This body has passed this bill previously multiple times, leaving the possibility of marriage at the age of 16, which this amendment would do. Now, this isn't just willy-nilly, 16, anyone can get married. There's a procedure in place. There's a procedure in place under the bill, and I think that we need to get away from these bright lines where we say, okay, once again, this bright line 18, this bright line 17, and we don't individualize the situation. I think that a court or a body is well equipped to make a decision when two people appear in a petition before them whether or not they should be married. If a 16-year-old comes in with a 60-year-old, I think that would raise an eyebrow to a person that is issuing this marriage license. I I've had a great deal of trepidation on this bill. The sponsor has been extremely committed to her belief that this is the right thing to do in Maryland, and I respect that. But I'm plagued by the hypocrisy that the bill presents, as it is with the age of 17, because it's so inconsistent with other areas of our law. You know, we say that at 14, the same child that can't get married under this bill, if they're charged with a crime, they can be automatically treated in the criminal justice system as an adult, but they can't get married. I have a real hesitation about saying that a 16-year-old, a 16-and-a-half-year-old who is pregnant, who has had a child, who desires to be married to the father of the child, is prohibited under law from marriage. I think that's too stringent. I think we need to allow for the option, the possibility of a 16-year-old with parental consent or who is pregnant or expecting a child, if they want to bring the child into the world, and they want to bring the child into the world under the confines of marriage, they ought to have an option, a pathway to do it. Now, this isn't an outlier. There could be more updated information, but from the information I have, 4 states keep the age a bright line of 18, 10 states a bright line of 17, and the majority of states have 16, and then a few states have under 16. I think the amendment is reasonable because 16 tends to be the norm when it comes to most of the states. And I would just reiterate, iterate for the first time, because I don't think I've iterated it ever, but it's not even a real problem. Like, it's not an epidemic of people getting married underage in Maryland. We don't want it to be, but it's not. Not only is it not an epidemic, it's not even common. There are only a handful of people every year under the age of 18, and certainly even less under the age of 17 that want to get married. But why on earth will we foreclose that option from someone that legitimately wants to be married to the person that they have had a child with? It just doesn't make any sense, and it goes too far. So for those reasons, I have to support the amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from District 30, followed by the senator from District 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the maker of the amendment for being so communicative throughout this process, and her passion for this issue, as well as the senator from Baltimore City, is very clear. I'd just like to talk a couple of minutes about our surrounding states and some of the data, dig a little deeper. So surrounding Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, Delaware, all bright line 18. So we are seeing movement in other states. In the 7 years that this bill has been before this body, we've seen a number of our surrounding states raise that bright line. It's also important to note, while this might not feel like a lot of people, it's between 50 and 70 every year, there are some egregious age disparities that we are seeing. The chair mentioned a 24-year age gap between a number of folks. I have a chart here that speaks to 20, 24, 20, 18, 17-year age gap between parties. I so appreciate the maker of the amendment's thoughtful process, particularly as it comes to in-state versus out-of-state. And if our Constitution allows, I would love to think more thoroughly about that piece of the amendment. But overall, I urge the body to reject this amendment because of a number of public health circumstances that we know as fact. Girls who marry before 18 are 31% more likely to live in poverty. They are 3 times more likely to experience domestic violence. They are 50% more likely to drop out of high school, and they are 70 to 80% more likely to divorce. This is a public health issue, and I urge the body to reject this amendment, to keep faith with the committee's wisdom at 17, and I appreciate the debate, Mr. President. I think it is incredibly thoughtful and additive to the conversation. Thank you,
Senator. All right, Chair recognizes Senator from District 4.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And just for the body to understand, so currently right now in Maryland, this is an issue we've been grappling with for years on the floor. It's been here and back. You can marry in Maryland as young as 15 and then 16, 17. This bill would put it that you can only marry at 17. And we've really gone back and forth. We had a bill a couple years ago that just got rid of 15. There has been a broad consensus in the committee that 15 is too young, but we've grappled with the idea, and quite frankly, I'm going to speak against this amendment, but I'm sympathetic because that's the argument I've made for years on this bill. And I give kudos to the sponsor, and the amendment would put 16-year-olds back in. I give kudos to the sponsor because she came to us not with a bill. Every year we've had a bill. It's been different sponsors than her some years that said 18 bright line, under 18, you cannot do that. And I felt, and others in the committee felt, a bright line was too strong, especially in instances where a young woman is pregnant. She should have the autonomy to decide to get married and do what's right. But I think this is a good compromise. The compromise is no one is ever happy with it, but I actually was, it felt good in committee that we talked to the sponsor. She worked with us. She came in with a bill that wasn't exactly what she wanted. This isn't exactly what I want, but that's the way compromises work. And I was just going to say this is, you know, for people that bring bills in front of our committee, and I'm sure you all feel the same way, I often feel like when my son was about 2 years old, he had one of those sets like all kids have, you know, with the little blocks, you know, the square hole and then a circle and the square. He used to think it was funny with those little peg holes. He'd take his little hammer and he'd bang it through, you know, the wrong size block through the wrong hole. That's what I feel like we're in committee all the time. People just keep bringing back bills we reject year after year after year, and they're like, we'll just beat them into submission. And the nice thing was the sponsor came in with a compromise. And in fact, her original compromise had emancipation and things. And I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put those restrictions on. Let's just go with 17. Let's get rid of the emancipation. And she went for that. That was a big concession on her part. I think we've made a concession. I think this is a good compromise. I'd like to move this bill forward. And quite frankly, I want to preserve that a 17-year-old who is pregnant or in that situation preserves that right. And that's why I want to see this legislation move forward before I leave here, because I think this does put in place a good balance. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right. On the amendment, are there any senators who have not yet spoken who wish to speak? We'll go to the minority leader, then the maker of the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a difficult one for me because I see both sides. But at the same point, since I have 7 kids, I've seen many things, and I can tell you, not necessarily in my family, but some 16-year-olds act like 12-year-olds, but some 16-year-olds act like 20-year-olds, and they vary based on kids. And I heard the statistics, but I also believe there's other statistics out there when a girl gets pregnant and dropping out of school. I'm sure the rates go down there as well, whether she's married or not. And I know there's a subset of the population who, if their kid gets pregnant, they want them, and the child wants to get married. And under this, they're saying you can't. And I know people personally who've got married at 16. They're celebrating like 33 years now, and they're happily married. I know there's some abusive cases too, so I'm trying to find the balance in this. And I just don't think this one size fits all is the best approach. So I don't know how I'm going to vote, to be honest with you.
It's okay. Sorry. They caught me off guard. So we'll go, Chair again, Senator from District 34.
Thanks, President. Colleagues, so on the discussion just initiated by the minority leader, so we wrestled with that look, I would have, my position had been sympathetic to the maker of the amendment for most of the years this was before us. But the one thing we wrestled with was that if it's not a one-size-fits-all, then that means there has to be a particular group, a particular set of findings. So if we're going to have this as a really subjective law, remember we're dealing with pregnancy here in 9 months and people aging out fairly quickly. So if it's not just a clear, bright line, then we got to go, who's going to do this? Who's going to say, this is a mature 16-year-old, this one's not? Who's going to say these things? Well, that means the court involved. As a litigator, I can tell you, courts don't move quick at all. It's just not possible. The dockets are so full of really serious stuff. You say, this is really serious. No, I mean really like life and death kind of serious stuff. And as we looked at it, and we thought, you know, unless she happens to get pregnant right on the verge there, but for most cases, you know, in the pregnancy issue, that's 9 months. You probably, by the time this thing gets through the courts, she's 17 and it's done anyway. And unless you put this on sort of a super docket. So as a practical matter, as much as we want to tailor something to address individuals, this is a real practical matter. It just doesn't work because people are aging, child's being born, and the courts, to expect the courts to jump through all kind of hoops with all the serious things they have to say, put this in the front. They're dealing with children in abusive situations and people in crime and horrible stuff. It's just not going to work. And so by the time you come through the courts, it's done. And I support I oppose the amendment, which I originally would have supported. And you know, I'm a traditionalist. If you're pregnant, you ought to get married, kind of stuff. But we all know that stigma's long gone in our society. So the idea of back in 1910 that, oh my God, she can't have a child without a husband, that would stigmatize him and he'll have no social standing and all that. That's gone. So it's really a practical matter here. That's how I look at it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, Chair recognizes the maker of the amendment.
Thank you very much. It was interesting. The last speaker actually made some of my points. One, the 16-year-old is very close to 17. But I think it's not simply about, as I stated yesterday, it's not simply the social stigma. There are benefits that accrue to marriage. For example, if say someone was going off to, we did not contemplate a military exemption, but if someone is signing up for the military, which they can, and they have a 16-year-old partner who is pregnant, who they wish to take with them, they would not be able to marry that person. If that person is deployed, they would not be able to go, because we have rules about only married people can live in housing, only married people can sign contracts. So I'm just saying that there are actual civil and legal problems that we're presenting already for a 16-year-old who, by the way, is choosing to raise their child. And unfortunately, all of the social ills associated with adolescent pregnancy are also about poverty. They're about homelessness. They are about our system, our state's inability to provide the educational system, the training system, the social supports. As much as we would like to think so, passing this bill that keeps an individual who's age 16 from being able to have a child in the context of marriage is not going to fix any of those problems. So again, I just ask for you to support the amendment. I believe it's consistent with eliminating the 15-year-old option, and I will correct that there is no court involved. It is simply presenting the certificate that one is pregnant. There is no court involved in this process. So the prior statement is just out of order when it comes to this particular amendment. So thank you all.
All right. Any further senators wish to speak before we take up the issue? Chair recognizes the senator from District 30.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to just build on what the maker of the amendment just stated, is that the bill as amended out of committee took out the judge's or the court's intervention here. So we no longer have the ability for a judge or a court to determine, as the minority leader said, the maturity or the circumstances in any particular incident. And so 17, without court intervention, I think is the best case scenario for this floor and the right balance. Am I happy with everything in this bill as it stands? Of course not, but that's not really our jobs here. We're not supposed to leave every day completely happy with the product, but it represents the best balance that we can find, particularly in an issue, Mr. President, that we've seen for 7 years. This is progress, and I urge the body to resist this amendment. Thank you.
All right, on the amendment, all in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Mr. President.
Opposed? Yes, Chair.
Would ask for a recorded
Senator requests a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? Chair recognizes the senator from Gaithersburg-Rockville has 2 minutes to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be a lot less than that. I have a great amount of respect for the senators who are making the case for the amendment. I'm deferring to the committee because I think this body can come back and revisit the issue in future years if a younger age seems to make more sense. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any further senators wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 28 votes in the negative, the amendment fails. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? It was a close one. That's the Senate right there. All right. Any further amendments? If not, Senate Bill 29 will be ordered printed for third reader. All right. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 30, Senator Carter, Courts, Jury Service, Disqualification. Question is on the adoption of the committee amendment and the favorable report.
All right. Question is on the one committee amendment and the favorable report. Question first on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The one committee amendment is adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? Chair recognizes the minority whip.
I have amendments to offer. We need to adopt the report, correct?
All right, on the report, any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Senator has an amendment. Pages will collect the amendment. Give us just a moment to get it into the system. As we're waiting, just a quick reflection. It was a good, thoughtful conversation there. Very interesting. It's the beauty of the Senate.
Mr. President, as my colleague from Anne Arundel mentioned, we're not supposed to walk out of here happy with the final product. I'm familiar with that feeling. So,
there we go. There we go.
I'm waiting.
All right, do we have it up? It appears we do. Let me just. All right, Senator will explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as we discussed this bill yesterday, just to reiterate what the bill does, this bill removes the restriction. Current law is that if you have a felony conviction, you may not serve on a jury. And we talked some about the overall issue yesterday. I'm going to stick most of the focus of my amendments here today. The amendment that you have at your desk is one of the most serious things I think that this bill does is it does not take into account with a blanket getting rid of this disqualification. I can understand the rationale that someone who's committed some sort of felony 25 years ago or something, they maybe understand the desire to want to give those people an opportunity to serve on juries. I do think this legislation is ill-timed considering what we are going through in our state right now. That's probably more argument for the final vote on the bill. But what I thought is really important is we want to be sure that people who have shown a propensity to deceive a court or interfere in the workings of the court and of the justice system, those people I think we need to have a special category for. So what my amendment does is it would say that there's an exception here to this to getting rid of this disqualification. If you've been convicted of a felony crime involving or relating to perjury, meaning you have lied under oath to a court and committed perjury, witness intimidation, which we know is a huge issue that we've been dealing with for years in our state, and our body has worked in a bipartisan way, by the way, to try to address that issue in the past, and we probably need to do more. But if someone's been convicted of witness intimidation, that should be an automatic disqualification. That should be listed in this law as something, you can't come back from that. I don't care if it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 5 minutes ago, that person should not be on a jury. Same for jury intimidation, again, another issue we're dealing with in our state from time to time. And then finally, the crime under Title VIII, which is dealing with fraud, so purposeful fraud, eliminating that. So someone who is, as I said, has deceived the court system deliberately, has tried to interfere in the administration of justice or to somebody's opportunity in a civil court by trying to intimidate a jury or intimidate a witness, or has committed fraud. I'd like to, this amendment would add that and say this bill does not apply to those folks. Those people need to forever be barred from interfering. I haven't had the opportunity to check for sure. I remember this bill before where we had something like that in a previous bill dealing with crimes of what they call moral turpitude. And so I think this is an important protection to put in the bill. So, Mr. President, I would move the amendment, and I would ask for a roll call vote when we are done with whatever debate happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I appreciate the maker of the amendment, some of the arguments you made. I want to dig in a little bit more on Title VIII. And so I'd ask for the bill to be laid over, to be laid over so I can have just a little bit more time to look at that amendment, but I appreciate the debate and you make some cogent arguments.
Thank you, Senator. All right, the motion is in order. The bill and the amendment will lay over under the rule. And Senators, in this case, the bills for the pro forma session, typically it would be tomorrow, but we'll have a pro forma session, so this will come back on Monday for the layover. All right. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, okay. All right. The desk is clear, Senators. Desk is clear. Desk is clear. We will have a pro forma session tomorrow. Let's do committee announcements. Chair recognizes the Chair of Finance.
Finance will have bill hearings at 1 p.m. We have 7 of them today, followed by voting.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Chair recognizes the Chair of Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're in the same posture. Bill hearings will start at 1. I believe there are 7, and that will be followed by voting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes the Chair of Budget and Taxation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today at 1 o'clock, all 3 subcommittees will meet, and then tomorrow at 11:30, all 3 subcommittees will meet.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair recognizes the Chair of Judicial Proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. President. Judicial Proceedings Committee will meet today at 1 o'clock for bill hearings, and then tomorrow morning we have voting at 9:30 a.m.
All right, 9:30. Working hard. Other committee meetings. Chair recognizes the Chair of the Baltimore County Delegation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to remind Baltimore County Delegation will meet 9 a.m. on Monday morning by Zoom. Thank
9
you.
a.m. Monday morning, Zoom. Chair recognizes the Chair of Executive Nominations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to remind everyone that executive noms will be in person at 5 on Monday.
In person at 5 on Monday. All right. Other delegations or select committees? Chair recognizes the Chair of the Baltimore City Delegation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to recognize that the Baltimore City Senate delegation will meet on Zoom, via Zoom, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any other announcements? Chair recognizes the co-chair of the Protocol Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Permission to use the senators' names?
Senator may proceed.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have been a little remiss and behind the 8 ball with recognizing our birthdays, so thank you for those of you who did recognize Senator Brian Feldman's birthday on February the 4th, but we have another senator that had a birthday over the weekend, last weekend. That's Senator Will Smith, so please wish him a very happy birthday. But today is Senator Gallion's birthday.
Excellent.
February the 10th.
Happy
so
birthday.
Please say happy birthday to him, and we will try to stay on top of this. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. February babies. February babies. Very nice. All right. Any other announcements before we adjourn? If not, let's do a quorum call before we adjourn.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, Senate Maryland remains in session. Chair recognizes the President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand adjourned until a pro forma session, Friday, February 11th at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Without objection, so ordered. Senators, remember, Monday is in person, 8 o'clock. We've got a Lincoln Day. Oh, yeah.